The ability to trust yourself comes from situations where you made decisions on your own, you followed through, and it worked out. That is a muscle that you have to train, bro. It's a perishable skill. If you don't train that within yourself, it's going to come and go. Sometimes you're going to have confidence. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll feel good. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll be able to trust yourself. Sometimes you won't. And dude, you'll go up and down and it'll drive you crazy. You need to become the kind of person that can trust themselves, that can follow through on their word, that can do what they say they're going to do. And that is something that you have to intentionally train. What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to fucking reality. Guys, are you guys done over there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Guys, today we have Q&AF. That's where you submit the questions and we give you the answers. You know the deal, all right? You can submit your questions multiple different ways. The first way is,
guys, email these questions into askandy@andyfrisella.com.
or you go on YouTube, drop your question in the comments, or click that link underneath the video and you can call in the show.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So we want to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we got multiple shows here, all right? Tomorrow we're going to have CTI. That stands for Cruise the Internet. That's our comedy, social events, crazy world show, all right? I don't know what you want to call it. It's a variety show, okay? We put topics on the screen, we speculate what's true, what's not true, and then we talk about how we, the people, the good citizens of the United States and the world, have to fix these problems going on in the world. Other times we're going to have Real Talk. Real Talk's 5-20 minutes of me giving you some real talk, and then we're going to have 75 hard verses. 75 hard verses where someone who has completed the 75 hard program comes on the show. They talk about how they were before, how they are now, and how they turn their life around using the 75 hard program. If you're unfamiliar with the 75 hard program, it is the initial phase of the Live Hard program, which is available for free at episode 208. It is the world's most popular mental toughness program ever. Get it for free on the audio feed, episode 208. There's also a book called The Book on Mental Toughness, which includes the entire program, plus a whole bunch of extra content that is not free. You can get it at andyfrisella.com. And yeah, we got some big stuff coming down the pipe, so keep your eye out on that. It might include some books that I mentioned a few weeks ago. So anyway, we don't run ads. We appreciate your help sharing the show. So don't be a hoe.
Let's share the show.
Yeah. How about that?
Yep.
I pulled that one right out of my pocket.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. What's up, man?
Oh, nothing much, man. You know, dude, we do got a lot of stuff coming. We got Summer Smash coming up.
Summer Smash this
That's
week.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. Is it this? No, it's next week.
It's this week. The show comes out on Monday.
Yeah.
Is Summer Smash? Oh, is it 2 weeks from now?
It's 2 weeks.
Oh, is it? All right, my
bro,
bad.
Bro, I almost shit my pants.
Yeah,
bro.
me too.
Don't do that. Bro, wait.
Yeah. All right, 2 weeks.
Yeah, we got 2 weeks though. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot of planning that goes into that, man, to deliver a great experience.
Yeah,
for
it's going to be
everybody.
awesome.
It'll be sick.
10th anniversary Summer Smash.
Number 10, dude.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep.
Jeez. What was the first one like?
Dude, we came up with the idea in like at the end of April and like did it at the beginning of June.
Man.
Yeah. So it was like,
That's a very quick turnaround.
yeah, let's do this. And we did it.
Yeah.
And
For
it-
comparison, people, like after Summer Smash, we already start planning for the next one.
Yeah. Now we do.
The way it
but I
is
mean, it was
now.
cool, dude. You know, we didn't know what we were doing. But it didn't matter because people came and they had a good time. And you know, we don't really go to expos, like big expos anymore. Well, ever. And we just wanted to spend time with our people. So we threw this idea together. People came and it grew every year. And that was it.
Damn.
It was totally different than the ones that we do now, though. Like similar, you know, where we do workout and all those things. But we used to do a mud run instead of the
that's sick.
workout. That was cool. And then the event itself was like way smaller. We didn't have music. We had a DJ, just like
local DJ.
Yeah, right, exactly. But it was great. It was fun, man. Yeah. It was the same amount of fun, but it wasn't such a production
for sure.
But now it's pretty awesome.
Now it's crazy.
Yeah,
it is crazy. Yes,
but there's man. Like, dude, it was fun then too, man. It's the people, dude. It's
people
not
make the party, man.
That's right.
People make the party. It's gonna be a party this year. That's no doubt. Sick, man. Well, guys, it's Monday. Yeah. So we always start our week off with some good ones.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
You got some good ones?
I got some good ones for you.
All
man.
right.
Well, guys, and let's get to our first question. We got a call in now. I gotta pre-warn. All right, this is a special guest.
Oh yeah, special.
It's a special guest, man. And I didn't know this at the time, but confirmed it.
What kind of special?
It's my cousin.
Oh,
it's my 16-year-old cousin.
Oh, all right. So you're playing favorites.
Well, I mean, but like that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't intentional. It's actually a good question.
All right.
I know he's going through some stuff. So, yeah, let's give Colt. Now, I'm gonna also tell you, you ain't got to hold back on him.
Okay.
Give it to him.
I'm not gonna hold back.
I'm just letting you know. Like,
you're gonna ruin my rep. I don't hold back.
No, I don't want you to think, oh, it's DJ's cousin. Let me be nice.
No, I'll be extra mean.
Rip his ass.
All right.
All right. Rip him. All right. Let's give my cousin Colt a call.
Colt?
Colton is his name. Goes by Colt.
All right.
Yeah. Let's give.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's cool, man. He's a good kid though.
All right.
Kid. Let's give him a call.
Hello?
Colt, what's up, man?
What's going on?
What's the word?
Oh, nothing much.
Colt, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man. Sitting here with your cousin. Let me just start this.
Sir.
I'll just start this off, okay? You're probably screwed because you're related to DJ. All right, so I don't know if I'll be able to help you, but I'll do my best.
Yeah, we'll try.
Great.
So what can we help you with, dude?
So my question was, how can I not let what people say like affect my mind and instead like use it for like fuel to like motivate me to like keep going?
Okay, what kind of stuff? Like, what are you getting at?
Like, really just sports. Like, just, like, people talking in sports. Like, you're always told not to, like, let it get to you, but sometimes it really does.
Like, in the game?
In the game, outside of the game, just all around.
What sport?
Baseball.
Okay. So you guys talking shit in baseball, huh?
Yeah, right.
So,
yes, sir.
All right, so here's the deal. First of all, anybody that's played baseball knows that talking shit is a real art. So my first suggestion would be to get really good at it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, but dude, that's a real question, man. And lots of people struggle with this in all different areas of their life, and some people never get over it, dude. The reality is that most people never do what they really want to do in life because they are afraid of what other people are going to say. And you're calling in and asking this question at a perfect time in your life because you're getting into a phase where people aren't going to be very nice all the time. Like, it's going to be hard and people are going to be assholes. And that's just reality of the world. And so you have to understand that a lot of times when we imagine these things, these things that people say to us, we're building them up in our own minds, okay? And I've done this before. I'm not above this. This is something I've had to work on my whole life. And I'll tell you what I did and how I got over it. But first thing is to become a little more aware. Are people, and this is rhetorical for you to just ask yourself, are people actually saying these things, or am I thinking they might say these things, and because they might say these things, I'm not doing what it is that I should or could or would be doing otherwise? So the first thing is to audit how bad it really is, okay? Like, is this real or is this shit that I'm making up? Secondly, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because most people struggle with that. Most people do not have haters. They don't have people that talk this shit. They had one guy on the internet or one person in their family or, a few people that they knew say a couple, out of pocket things, and they've stuck to them because, dude, we don't like to hear these things, bro. Like it doesn't feel good. And I don't care who you are. Like it never feels good. And we have to understand that's just a part of life. All right. There's people out there that are just assholes. Okay. So
it gets worse.
It does get worse.
It gets worse.
But here's the thing. It never is what we think it is. It's like when we deal with people who are like, oh man, all these people talking shit. They're not talking shit. That you had one guy that says some shit.
Yeah.
Everybody else thinks you're cool.
Yeah, right.
And you're torturing yourself over what this one person said or these two people said your whole life, and now it's costing you everything in the future. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we got to be aware that that's why most people fail in life, dude. It really is. They are their own worst enemy. They imagine these things that people might say, which makes them, ironically, their own biggest hater. All right? So that is aside, and you should always remember this, Colt, because most people lose in life because they can't get past that. They don't see the reality of how bad it is. Now, the second part is, who gives a okay? Who cares? You're going to be dead one day. I'm going to be dead one day. All these guys are going to be dead. It doesn't matter. I had so many people in my life talk so much shit to me about my business in the early days when I was broke and I was living in the back of my store and we couldn't get anywhere. Things weren't happening. I had so many people, bro, tell me, hey man, when are you going to stop messing around with that little store and get a real job? When are you going to start taking life serious? Hey, do you still got that little vitamin shop? Like I had that shit for years, dude. And the truth of the matter is like now I'm like, holy shit, bro. I'm so thankful that I did not listen to any of them. Okay. Cause now look, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I've achieved, more. I mean, I ain't stopping. I'm just getting started. But the reality is I've achieved more than I ever thought I would achieve. And I'm only 45 years old. Okay. So,
right.
And that comes from not listening to these to say this shit to you, dude. So like another point to think about is a lot of these people aren't on the same path. They don't want what you want. So their opinions are irrelevant. But to answer your question, all right, the way I've gotten through this is just, and a lot of people don't get this, but every championship person I know understands this. You take what they say and you use it. You take what they say, and when it makes you mad, you automatically go do something to get better. All right. So for you in baseball, what position you play?
Second base.
Okay. So every time you think about what these said, you go out and you start taking ground balls, or you go out and you do your hitting, or you go out and do something that is going to move you forward. And that is how you properly use negative energy. A lot of people just get mad and they get bitter, but champion people use it. And dude, to the point of where sometimes when you get really, really good, you got to make it up. Okay. There's a famous story about Michael Jordan, where he went out on the court and started talking to one of the dudes. He's like, hey man, I can heard what you said about me. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? I didn't say that shit. And he's like, yeah, you're going to say that now? We're on the court, man. Fuck you. And then dude, he just runs the dude over. Yeah. So like,
wow.
Yeah, bro. So like it's you have to learn how to use the negative energy, bro, because here's the deal. In life, you're going to get two kinds of energy. You're going to get encouragement, and then you're going to get discouragement. You're going to get negative energy, brother. And you're not going to want to hear this, but the truth of the matter is 80% of the energy you're going to get is probably negative for a very long time until you become so undeniable that nobody wants to say that shit, all right, because they look stupid. That doesn't come for years down the road. So right now where you're at, you're going to have to take everything that they said and you're going to have to get up off the couch or go put your spikes on and get your glove, get some ground balls, do some hitting practice. I would encourage you to start learning some, reading and learning about business and entrepreneurship and things that will help you professionally past that. Even if you go play pro, you're going to want to know what to do past that. But just do something productive. Work out. Go for a run. Something that makes you better. Because that's what bro, I've met some really champion level people. I mean, the best of the best of the best outside of Michael Jordan, I've probably met most of them. And fortunate enough to have conversations with them. And they all think like that. Every single one of them. And you'll have these people out in the world that say, don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive. Well, if that's true, then you're only going to use 20 to 30% of the available energy to move forward.
Right.
Okay. And I can tell you this, like when someone tells me how good I am, it sure doesn't motivate me very much. Like when someone says, hey man, congratulations on all the success. Like I don't get the fuck up and do any work any harder and say, oh, I want more.
Like,
but when
cool.
when someone says, hey, fuck you, Andy, you fat fuck, guess what I do? I go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
right.
Yeah. So dude, you've just got to learn how to utilize that negative energy because bro, we're going to get way more of it. And like DJ said, it gets worse. And if you don't have the ability to leverage it or you laugh it off too easy, see, a lot of people will say, oh, just laugh it off. Who cares? No, dude, take that shit in, get pissed about it, and then go do the thing that's going to make you better. That's where most people miss it. They get real pissed, but then they sit there and they sulk. That doesn't do you any good, man. The best workouts I've ever had, the best ideas I've ever had, the hardest I've ever worked is when I felt disrespected. All right? So, dude, swallow that shit and let it simmer and let it piss you off and then go do your shit, bro. Right? I'm talking like right then. I don't mean like, dude, if it's 11 o'clock at night and someone's like, hey, fuck you, bro, go for a 10-minute run. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, if you can seriously discipline yourself enough to move forward every time someone says some negative shit, do you know how fucking good you become? You become great because the energy is just much more available than it is the positive. So
right.
What do you think, bro? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay. What kind of shit are they saying to you, dude?
Just like giving me crap about like playing time and transferring schools, like all this stuff.
Man, just swallow that shit down and outwork them, bro. It'll all work out.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. You have any more issues with that, you call back in.
Yeah, I'll pull up, man.
Yes, sir, I will.
No, bro, this is part of growing up.
You got to go through
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, part of the reason that I'm where I'm at in life is because everybody bullied me when I was young, bro. That's the truth. I was bullied. I was made fun of. I was called a fat I was told I was no good. I had a guidance counselor in high school tell me that there's no way that I was going to ever be successful. Actually, what he told me was I wanted to go to Notre Dame, and I wanted to go to Notre Dame or the University of Texas. And his exact words to me were, Andy, those schools aren't for people like you. You're a community you're a community college person. And he told me that straight to my face. And dude, to this day, I fucking think about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, these things that people say that like pierce your heart are the most valuable things that anybody will ever say to you in your entire life, but you won't realize it until you've gone down the journey of where you want to go. All right? So, one day, Colt, you're going to be in a position, and maybe it's in baseball, maybe it's a professional career, just being a successful human, and you're going to say, man, I'm glad all those said that shit to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to, I have a list, bro, and like, sometimes I think about like literally sending them a thank you card. No, I'm being serious.
Telling it to 'em.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Because
I wouldn't have been here without you.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, dude.
Yeah.
And I've learned to be appreciative of those people because of the fuel that they gave me. And
Right.
yeah, dude, it's hard to see when you're in it, but once you use it, you'll start to understand.
Love it. Love it. All right, Colt, go get it done, man.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank y'all so much for talking to me.
All right, brother. We'll see you.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
All right, you too.
Bro.
Yeah, man, that's hard as a young dude.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, dude, kids nowadays.
They're mean as
It's different.
I know.
Man.
They're
so
savage,
different.
bro.
It's so different.
Plus, you got to go home and see it on the internet.
That right.
Yeah.
There's no. It's not off. You know,
Right.
it used to be. It's just at school. No, that shit goes home with you. Like it's everywhere.
Bro, you just got to learn to say, oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We'll see.
Watch this.
Yeah, that's right.
That's real.
We'll
man.
fucking see.
I love it, man. Well, guys, let's get to our second question. Got it right in here. Guys, Andy, question number 2. Hey, Andy, I always ask everyone else for their opinions, whether it's my friends, coworkers, or just strangers online. I weigh every perspective but my own. I think I'm afraid that if I really trusted myself and got it wrong, I'd have no one else to blame. But what if I'm the only one I need to trust? What would change if I finally did? How do you learn to trust yourself when it comes to perspectives?
First of all, look, dude, don't be asking your friends who aren't doing the same shit that you're doing advice. You don't take financial advice from a poor person. You don't take, fitness advice from a 400-pound dude who's never worked out. This is common sense. Your friends and probably most of your family is not doing or on the same path that you are on. All right. The nature of you writing into this show tells me that you want more. Nobody that doesn't want more listens to this show. Okay. That's why so many people complain about it. Yeah, all right? Right. It is a small percentage of people that want to do better in life. And you are in that group. And if you are trying to get validation or ask opinions from people who are not on that path, you are constantly inviting sandbag comments to pull you off track. All right. They're going to instill doubt. They're going to make you question things. They're going to discourage you. They're going to say things that make you feel a certain way that you shouldn't feel. All right. And it's hard to get past this because in your mind, these are the people who should care about you the most. All right. So you have to understand, dude, real simple. You cannot take advice when it comes to your path from anybody that hasn't been down the road or is on the same path. It's a completely different life than everybody else. All this shit you see on the internet about balance and all this victimhood shit and all this trauma shit and you need therapy, bro, that's for everybody else. Okay, you're a builder, you're a creator, you're an achiever, and you know that in your heart, which is why you're asking the question. So you are paralyzed by people who aren't even on the same path. You have to understand that. Stop asking people who aren't even in the same stratosphere about what they want in life, what you should be doing. They're going to give you advice about what they do. This should be obvious to you. Okay. And all that does is confuse you and paralyze you and cause you to eventually doubt enough to where you give up and you say, it's not for me. Everybody around me tells me it's not for me. Everybody says I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not humble enough, or I need to be like this, or I need to do that, or are you sure? Listen, stop doing that. You are torturing yourself by asking them anything. All right? If you want to be an average that lives an average life that doesn't really want to, ask them what you should do. Because whatever they say, bro, if you follow it, you're just going to be like them. That's the truth. That's the truth. Okay? Now, to the point of listening to yourself. The reason that you don't trust yourself is because you haven't ever built the confidence to trust yourself. I bet without looking at your life, you have a major problem with execution and you have a major problem with follow through. I can tell by the nature of your question. Because if you were executing and if you were following through, you would have developed confidence in yourself to make the decisions that you want to make without anybody else's opinion. When you have built yourself into a resilient, strong, badass, mentally hard worker, you do not need other people's opinions on things. You only ask them when they know more than you, which is a smart thing to do, by the way. All right? So we have to work with you on building your confidence, building your self-esteem, building your grit, building your fortitude, following through. All right? And dude, by the way, I've developed an entire program that helps you train this in yourself. It's called 75 Hard and Live Hard. You get it for free at episode 208. I'm sure you've heard of it because the whole world's heard of it. All right? You need to live on that lifestyle. That is the truth. You need to get on Live Hard. I would recommend every entrepreneur do it because it sharpens you throughout the entire year. It keeps you high performing. It keeps you mentally clear, and it allows you to operate at the highest level. And by the way, it gives you the confidence that you could trust yourself because you've just shown yourself that you can do all these hard things that other people can't even fathom. So you don't look to other people's validation anymore because you know you're stronger than them. All right? So if you want to trust yourself, you've got to give yourself reasons to trust yourself, and you haven't done that yet. All right? So go out, live on the program, understand that the more you listen to people who aren't doing shit, the more likely you are to fall into line with them and not do shit either. All right? And then start seeking the advice of people who are further down the road or have done what it is that you want to do, and only listen to them. Don't listen to anybody else. So that's pretty much it, bro. Like, you got to understand, dude. The ability to trust yourself comes from situations where you made decisions on your own, you followed through, and it worked out. That is a muscle that you have to train, bro. It's a perishable skill. If you don't train that within yourself, it's going to come and go. Sometimes you're going to have confidence. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll feel good. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll be able to trust yourself. Sometimes you won't. And dude, you'll go up and down and it'll drive you crazy. You need to become the kind of person that can trust themselves, that can follow through on their word, that can do what they say they're going to do. And that is something that you have to intentionally train. It is not something that people are born with. It's something that you have to build through repetition, just like playing the guitar or just like doing anything that requires practice, okay? A lot of people, they play the guitar and they don't play for 3 or 4 years, and guess what? They suck, all right? If you take a shower today and you don't take one for the next week, you don't get to go back and say, hey, well, I took a shower that one time. Doesn't work like that. It's the same thing with your discipline. It's the same thing with your confidence. It's the same thing with your self-belief. You have to train them, all right? And once you start to train them, you will have more trust and faith in yourself. So stop listening to people who aren't on the same path. They're poisoning your mind. They're instilling doubt. They're making you question things, and eventually they'll make you question it so much that you will give up and you will join them, and then you will spend the rest of your life being regretful of not doing what it is you wanted to do.
Dude, I want to ask this. This is gonna be a real conversation, and I don't think anybody talks about this. How do you handle the resentment when you finally learn that when you were asking them for their opinion, they told you go left and you didn't? Like, just how wrong they were? How do you handle that resentment? Is there resentment?
No, I mean, look, dude. Well, it depends. Did they do it intentionally, or they just don't know because they're not on the path, right? Like,
I guess that matters.
But listen, it does matter. Intent does matter, because some people will try to help you, but they don't know, right? They have no business trying to help you.
Right.
They're not aware enough, and the person asking is not aware enough to say, hey, this guy's life sucks. You know what I'm saying?
That
like,
might not be right.
Yeah. So we have to not give value to our friends and family to skills that they do not possess. They do not possess at all. They might want to help you, but they can't help you. That's like someone who can't swim being asked to swim out in the middle of a lake and save a drowning person. You can't do it. You might want to, but you can't. All right?
Right.
And so if it's like that, there really isn't resentment. You just say, hey, they love me. They gave me what they thought was good advice, and it was framed because that's what they believe. And that's why you don't ask them.
Yeah, right.
All right. And in that case, there's no resentment. It's just, hey, we're on different paths. It's a good-hearted person. You know,
Well,
we can hang out at the barbecues and be cool friends, but I'm not going to ask them shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, there's plenty of people out there that you can remain friends with and just not ask their advice. Or when they give it, just say, hey, man, you know, real talk, I don't give a
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then there is people that will try to pull you off track, and you'll realize it down the road, especially with like people you date. All right, you'll realize that. And dude, it's just realizing that those people don't give a fuck about you; they give a fuck about them. And dude, you don't have to resent them. You just let them go, bro.
Yeah.
You just let it go. Resentment eats you up. It doesn't do anything to them. It doesn't fix the situation. It's not productive. You just accept things for what they are, and they are what they are.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I love it, man. All right, guys, our third and final question. We got another call in. This is Hunter. Let's give Hunter a call.
Hello, it's Hunter.
Hey, what's up, Hunter?
What's going on?
Scared me there a little bit.
What's up, Hunter? How you doing, bro?
Yo, what's up, man?
So what do you got for us today, bro? Where you at? You sound like you're in like you in Alabama?
No, North Carolina. I got my whole family in the car. We're going to see the new Lilo and Stitch movie.
All right.
Sick.
All right. So the family's there, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, I got you in my earbud because you never know, what can happen on one of these.
That's probably a good idea.
Safe, smart.
Well, what can we help you with, bro?
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to maybe give you a little synopsis of my family's business and my situation, and then read the questions so you got a little understand. So
sure,
we've been in business for 15 years. We've got a car dealership right outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, that my dad started with a motorcycle and a tractor out of his garage. Sold those, bought his first car, sold that car, bought two more. Now we've got 2 locations with 150 units. Over the last 15 years, he's built a pretty successful business in our area that our community trusts, and we do things the right way, as you should. The question that I've got relates to the culture of our business. So I'll just read it to you. So my question was, how can I shift the culture of a small family business when the majority of the employees are old, established hires who are not only lazy, but can be active cancers within the company? My dad has made all of these hires and now has kind of stepped away from the day-to-day and is more hands-off in the company.
Okay, well, what's your role in the company?
So I run, so we have 3 locations. I run one of the car lots. And I've kind of revamped all of my employees and established my own culture within my store. The other 2 locations are all hires that have really been with them since day one, and the majority of them are great, but there are a couple that I think he obviously wants to see the good in his people that he hired, and doesn't see how they behave on the day to day.
Right.
So we've got some, just some bad apples in the group that know that since they were hired by him, almost have the hidden immunity idol. And there's nothing that I can really do to manage those employees because they know that he hired them and I can't fire them.
Okay. And those employees work inside your store?
No. I don't have any of the old employees at my location, but so we have an auto shop that all of our cars go through. So we work, and a detail shop at the other store. So we work closely with all locations. But my store independently does not have any of the old established hires.
And how's your store perform next to the other stores?
Great. They have about 3 to 4 times the inventory that I do. And I hang right with them every month in terms of sales. So they have 4 times the product, 3 to 4 times the product. And I typically, am maybe a small percentage behind what they sell, with maybe more than half, less than half the inventory.
Okay. All right. So is your dad planning on like getting completely out to where you're going to be able to run things at any time soon?
Dude, that's where it's weird. It's like every week, like he's gone 4 or 5 days a week. When he stops into the store, it's only for maybe 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
But he's very adamant about keeping his people.
Why do you think that is?
That they're in.
Why do you think that is?
Well, yeah. So he's got a very good heart.
Right.
And his people are loyal to him.
Yep.
But I've heard you say time and time again that, just because you show up for work, you may be loyal in terms of like being on time and doing but they just do what they're supposed to do, as an employee. But they are loyal, right? They've been with him for 10 or 12 years. But since he stepped away from the company, like, I don't think that
how old
without him in store.
How old are these people?
Probably like late 40s, early 50s.
Okay. And what is your ideal outcome for are you trying to grow the company? You trying to open up more stores? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, so right now we're just kind of coasting with what we've got. We've got a lot of room to grow. We could probably double our inventory between the two stores at the current locations, but I think the 10-year plan would be, open a second or third or fourth retail location, and grow outwards in that manner.
Okay. All right, man. So here's the deal. Your dad is loyal to these people because they helped him build what he has. Okay. And
sure,
this is a common trait. I have a number of people that have helped me grow my companies that I would do literally anything for. And some of them are still here and some of them aren't. And if you're a good person, like you say your dad is, when I asked you that question, I was pretty sure what the answer was going to be. You feel a very deep sense of gratitude, and you tend to give sometimes passes to people that you wouldn't in other situations. And
right,
how I would address this issue, okay, because here's the truth. You already know what's got to happen. There's only two things that can happen here. One, they can get on board. Two, they can get the out. All right. And they're probably not going to get on board at 50 years old. I just got to be real. They've already accepted their lifestyle. They've already most people at 50 are not ambitious. They've decided, hey man, this is just what my life's going to be. And so to get those people to execute at a higher level than what they've been used to is probably, it's going to be very difficult, probably. Now there's going to be exceptions, right? But probably not. Okay. So the other thing so the other situation is, you got to get rid of them. Your dad doesn't want to get rid of them because they're 50 years old, and he's thinking like, well, what are they going to do? It's going to f them up. So what needs to happen here, before the culture even gets addressed, you have to have a conversation with your dad. Okay. And you have to say, hey, look, Dad, I know that you built this business. What you've done is amazing. I want to take the business to the next level so that I can be proud of what I've done with my life. I don't want to just sit here in the store and run a store. I want to take what you've done and I want to take it to the next level, which I'm sure at one point in time is what you also wanted. And then I would say,
sure, yeah.
I would say, look at my grandkids. I'm trying to provide, or look at your grandkids. I'm trying to provide the best opportunity for them. And the reason you're going to say it like that is because you want him to expand his thinking outside of just himself or you. Okay. And if you say, hey, I'm trying to set something up for them, that he's going to see that differently. All right. So you have this conversation with him and you say, look, there's only so much I can do with Steve and Larry and Bob. Okay. They're fucking up everything that I got going on. You have to talk to them. They can either work and get on board with me, or we're going to have to get rid of them because it's going to hurt our family, man. And you have to have a real conversation with him. And you got to say like, hey, Dad, I know you have a good heart, and I know you care about these people, but you care about those grandkids more than you care about those people. All right? And you got to start putting pressure on them to understand that like this is bigger than him, and it is. This isn't manipulation. This is just like a negotiation to get him to realize, like, hey man, because he's probably not realizing it. He's probably thinking like, oh, everything's good. I gotta, I can go to fishing, I can go do my thing, and everything's fine. But what he doesn't realize, like you said, is what goes on when he's not there. All right. So
sure. That
conversation has to happen, and it has to happen in a real serious way. Like, hey, Dad, can we get together? Like, or can we meet here? And I need to talk to you about something it's real important. I just don't want to bring it up casually. Like, set an official meeting with him so that there's weight to the conversation. All right. And then we can start addressing the culture. Okay. Because until you get the cancer out of you're correct in your assessment. Until you get the cancer out of your company, you can't get people aligned because, and I'm going to explain this, you already know this, but I'm going to explain this for the listeners. When Hunter tries to change the culture, what's happening here is he's being undermined by people who have been there longer, who are older than him, who know the way it really is. This is how we've always done it. And so Hunter's walking in the room saying, hey guys, this is what I want to do. This is what we want to do. This is this. And the minute he walks out of the room, he's getting undermined by these people who truly don't give a And we might sit here and say, oh, they really do care. No, they don't, because if they really cared, they'd get on board with them. If they really cared, they would do what is going to be best for the company. And if they were really loyal to your dad, bro, they would work their asses off in gratitude for the opportunity that they've been provided. That's the truth. Okay. So this guilt that your dad has is wrong. It's misplaced. Okay. If they were loyal, they would be doing everything they can to grow that business, because it would also serve them to grow it as well. But like I said, they're 50 years old. They've accepted where they are. They're ambitious. They don't want to work any harder. And every place has people like that. But the minute they start undermining and the minute they start sabotaging, they got to go, bro. They got to go. So,
yep.
So, that has to be addressed before we address the culture. All right. Now, once you get all that addressed, there's some formalization that you can do inside your company. And dude, listen, culture that's a week-long boot camp. Okay. And I actually am going to start doing something like that soon. But in a shorter time we have, what you have to do, dude, is you have to set some standards. And I'll give you a couple pieces of what this will take to fix it. All right. One, you got to define what the vision is. All right. What's the vision of what you're trying to do? Once you define that, you have to make the vision work for them. Okay. They have to understand, what are they going to get out of the vision? They have to believe that they can get it out of that vision. And so you have to set basically a very clear goal for what they are going to get out of growing the company. Number two, you got to develop a real mission statement, not some bullshit that you put on the wall that says we here at Hunter Car Dealership, we stand for integrity. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about some real shit that you guys live by. All right. Then three, you have to set core values for the company. And these core values, you could pick like 6 to 10 of them. And these have to become the guide rails for how you audit your performance, your decision. And you have to teach your employees to audit themselves against those same values. Meaning, if the value says accept responsibility or go the extra mile, they should be able to look at that list and say, am I doing that? Am I going the extra mile? Am I taking responsibility for the things that go wrong? And use that and teach them as a framework how to stay within that guide rail. And the third part, or the fourth part here, is going to be speak in that language. Meaning, when you make a correction when you have to, let's say have a meeting with someone or talk to them about something, or you're making a correction about something, you're going to want, instead of saying, hey, that was wrong, don't do that again, you're going to say, hey, what core value do you think that violates here? And you make them go up and down and tell you, and then you say, okay, what do you think you should have done? And you make them go up and down and tell you, all right? And you start communicating and correcting along these core values. And I guess the sixth thing, I don't know, how many numbers is that? 5 or 6? Whatever. The next thing is you need to hire and fire by those core values. So if you have, and you've already figured this part out, if you have people that aren't a fit, they got to go no matter what. It doesn't matter how good they sell. It doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter. They have to go because those people will always poison the culture. So those are some quick things that you can do, dude. And here's another one. Instead of do you guys have like awards and shit that you do?
Yeah, we've got some like bonus programs.
And what are they based upon? How much you sell?
It just depends on the position, but yeah, typically it's based off sales. Yeah.
All right. So take that metric, having it based off sales, and make your awards based on the core values. Okay. Meaning,
gotcha.
Like who had the coolest go the extra mile story for the dealership? Who had the, start making the rewards based around the value system that you have inside your company. And that will correct the behavior because dude, as you know, as a salesperson, sales at the cost of anything is not actually a good way to run your business because it feels salesy and people don't come back and then you get a bad reputation. So overselling is probably one of the worst things you could do in any business. So you want to shift the idea from selling to actually serving and helping through these core values. And when you do that, bro, you end up in a situation where people are providing the best possible outcome for your customers, because ultimately the best marketing that you have, and I don't know anything about your business, but it's word of mouth. They're going to say, hey, I went down to Hunter. The guys were awesome. I would never go anywhere else.
I'm only going to Hunter.
Yes. And that's not
we've got, in the community, we've got, on Google, we've got like a 4.9 star. Probably over 50% of our business is from word of mouth.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask a quick follow up?
Yeah.
So because I'm not, let's say you have two options to deal with the cancer, right? If you can cut it out immediately, which is not an option for me, I'm kind of left as acting as almost like a chemo, right? And so these people have been left kind of put on my plate where I have to deal with them, but throwing them out, cutting them out is not an option. So how can I deal with these people and almost how can I make these people more effective when they're not my hires, they don't listen to what I say, and they know that they've found like an immunity where there's nothing that I can do per se, right? There's no respect for me.
You want to know the truth? Hold on. You want to know the truth? Yeah. You can't do it. You can't do it. You'll lose. So it's either get rid of them,
right,
or you're going to lose. That's it. Or get rid of them, you're going to stay where you're at. So that's why I said you need to talk to your dad. You're going to have a confrontational discussion with your dad, because I've been doing this for 26 years. I'm probably one of the biggest experts in the world on culture, and I can promise you I couldn't do what you're asking for you to do.
There's no other work.
I couldn't do it.
This has been a discussion for who knows, probably the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I've been sending the episodes to show them, hey, look what he said, the cancer, you got to get rid of it. And so my sharing the show and not being a hoe has been really sending these episodes to him to say, look, man, this guy's built, astronomical things. He's not just making it up. And
Bro,
there's no example where the cancer stays in the business.
It can't happen. There's only two options. They can either get on board and respect your father who gave them a career and work at the standard that needs to be done, or they have to go, and that's it. And dude, this undermining shit if you're saying, oh, well, I need to make it better right away. Look, dude, I know how I would handle it. But I probably can't say it on the air. Okay. Real talk.
Call you on the side.
Yeah. Real talk, dude. You're not going to undermine me. Yeah. Now when I'm paying your bills, it's not happening, bro. So,
that's right.
That's total disrespect. Total disrespect. So at a bare minimum, that has to stop. But it's still not going to fix what you're trying to fix. If you want to fix a little bit today, I'd go sit down with them. I say, hey, man, I get you've been here for 55 years, whatever the they've been here. And I'd say, I get that. And I get that. How old are you?
26.
I get that I'm only 26 and you think I'm like some young dude that doesn't know shit. But I'm going to tell you right now, between me and you, I'm going to get my way. And if you, the minute I get it, if you don't stop what you're doing, you're going to be out of here. And I can tell that right to their face. I'd pull them outside. I'd say, hey, let me talk to you for a second. And I'd have a real, that's exactly what I would say. I'd say, hey, look here, Bob. I know you're 50 years old and you don't give a about your life, but you see those kids over there? I give a about them. And my dad gave you a opportunity to build a career, to do these things, and every time I walk out of the meeting, you're telling these guys this and this and this. That's going to stop because there's going to be a day real soon where I'm running shit and you're not going to have a job. And I would make that really clear, dude. And if they, that, I would say just like that. That'll get you a little bit of time.
Yeah, that'll buy you some time.
Yeah, but it won't fix it.
Right. Yeah, probably need to sit down as a company, right, and address the issues.
No,
with all of us together in the room.
Well, I mean, I would do that. Yeah,
right?
but see,
after we discuss in private, get on the same page.
That's passive, bro. Okay. You first of all, you can't hold the whole company accountable for the actions of a few because the ones that are really trying hard will be discouraged by that. They'll say, "Look, dude, Hunter's not seeing like all the shit I do. Like they didn't even appreciate it." Yeah. So it has to be in private.
Right. Okay.
Bro, I'll come do it. Those guys.
Let me see.
Man, sounds like a plan.
Dude, listen, do it. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in the same system forever. And dude, you're going to be failing your own family, bro. Those guys, okay? If they don't want to get on board and your dad feels bad, you need to get your dad to understand they're not respecting what he's done for them.
Right.
That's real.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, that's what I'll do first thing tomorrow morning.
All right, brother.
I wasn't at a movie with my family right now.
Yeah.
I'll do it now, but I'll have to do it
I get
tomorrow
it.
morning.
But listen, man, listen. You will be glad you did this. It will change. It will get you in a position where you can grow and you can do your thing, and it'll probably happen a lot faster than 10 years, dude.
Right.
So, all right, bro.
Sounds good, man. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Hunter. See you, bro.
Yep. Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah. That's a hard convo to have, man.
It is if you never had it.
Yeah. That's got to be.
It is if you never had it. Listen, man. That's real shit. Yeah. Those guys aren't respecting his dad for what they did for him. And now they're sandbagging this guy, and his family and what he's trying to do because he's only 26 and they don't want to listen to him. He's out here trying to build a career. The truth of the matter is if his dad won't allow him to do that, he should go do his own thing because he's always going to be handicapped by his dad's inability to recognize what is true. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then his dad has to see like, man, I'm hurting my own family by keeping these guys here.
Yeah. And if he does have a heart, he's going to see that and he'll get in line.
Maybe. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I understand how his dad feels, bro.
Yeah.
But listen, there's a time when loyalty expires. There's an expiration to loyalty. It does not last forever.
Ooh.
Okay?
It ain't just this trade-off.
Yes.
Right. Fuck, man. I was thinking too, man, like even just on the cancer conversation, bro, like even having the conversation, yeah, they might get in line for a little bit.
Yeah, it's a Band-Aid.
For a little bit.
Listen, man, at 50 years old, you are who the you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Well, guys, Andy, that was 3.
All right, guys. Well, let's get out there. Let's have a good week, and we'll see you tomorrow.